in the last few years, dementia has overtaken cancer as our biggest fear in later life. But for 30-year-old Laura Borrell, that fear really has become a reality.
She was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia in 2015, just 3 years after getting married to her husband, Philip. Incredibly, it's made them more determined than ever to live life to the full. And they join us now to share their story. And one of the things you want to do is to highlight this, because the age that you were, it's usually between 45 and 64. There's no research associated with this happening in your age group. When did you first, as a couple, when did you notice there's something not right here?
We were driving past a pub, weren't we, one day, and there was it was Christmas time, there was a billboard saying Christmas bookings all day, and I turned to Phil and said, "Oh look, Christmas puddings all day long," and he was just like, "What are you talking about?" And it was just the kind of semantic issues and the word-finding difficulties that started to take place, and you were quite concerned, weren't you? Because we'd had this antiphospholipid syndrome, the Hughes syndrome, the clotting condition.
That was before you were
married? That was before I was being married, and then it got diagnosed, and then various little bits started to kind of chip away and start to fall apart and go wrong.
And the problem is that getting a diagnosis was really hard. It took a really long time.
It was an absolute battle, and it's such a shame that we had to go through this, which, you know, we've got the NHS, we've got all these kind of doctors and everybody, and you automatically presume that you go to them and say, this is what's happening, they're going to know what's happening.
And one neurologist completely missed it, in quite an appalling way, actually.
Yeah, they were vile, they were so rude to me. They basically referred to me as a hysterical white female. And they were just... So I came away because you kind of listened to what they say. I thought I'd just going crazy, absolutely going crazy. And I kept saying to Phil, "No, you're not, no, you're not." And I was just like, I must be absolutely just cracking up.
And have you noticed it getting progressively worse?
Yeah, so when it first started, Laura just mentioned about reading the sign wrong. So that was the beginning of it, really, and then she'd have kind of episodes where that would maybe last 2 or 3 minutes, and then they would get longer, and we'd get to the point where maybe she'd have an hour episode where she'd have problems with her language or wouldn't be able to make coherent words, and then she'd start becoming confused, and her short-term memory would suffer, and then they would tend to go after maybe an hour or two, and then it would get to the point where, you know, she would become, if tired in the evening, then she would go like this. And then it's now got to the point now where it's every day. And so actually before we came, she was getting a little bit stressed before we came, and she went into a very brief episode then. And she's able to force herself out of it, but she'll pay for it later on today.
The best way I can describe it is if you're listening to lots and lots and lots of bits of music, and somebody said to you, pick a song out, and you can't quite get, you can hear it, but you can't quite get there, and that's what it feels like, that's the confusion.
So when you were diagnosed and you got that diagnosis, to hear the words dementia for anybody is like what we said, an absolute fear, very scary, but at your age, probably the last thing you thought you were going to hear. What does that feel like?
You just bottom falls out of everything. You think that that's it. I'm not going to have a clue. I'm not going to know. I'm not going to recognise my husband. I'm not going to remember significant events. I picked up the phone to my mum before and not recognised it was my mum. Those kind of things.
Are they able to give you any sort of time frame?
It's so experimental, Philip. It's just so... Yeah, it's just kind of catching it in the wind, basically. They don't really know. They can say people who are older have got this amount, but they don't know.
So you've taken the decision as a couple, and actually prompted by your mum.
Yeah.
Because she set up a absolutely, mum's the best. She set up a GoFundMe page because she wanted you to go away and travel. I mean, you gave up your law degree. Lots of things in your life had to change because of this. So she wanted to create memories for both of you to live life to the absolute full. And that's what you've been doing. You're raising money and you've got this trip planned.
Yes, we have.
So what are you going to be doing?
We ideally want to... I've always loved America and I wanted to kind of experience the culture and had this mad idea to travel across America in possibly an RV or that kind of thing, and just to do something that is going to stick with me. And we went on honeymoon to America, so it's again tapping into those memories that I already have, and to reinforce them as much as humanly possible, and just to raise awareness and as much money as I can, not just for my kind of selfish type way, but for to research and to get the money for other people who might be experiencing.
You guys, you know what you have to come. How do you feel about that?
Because the doctors that we've spoken to, and especially we're with a doctor now who's trialing Laura for 3 months on just warfarin, but getting her INR correct for it. And this doctor thinks that she thinks it's the best hope Laura's got, but she said there are other stuff she can try, but they're much more probably damaging to Laura's health. So there'll be autoimmune suppressants and all that kind of stuff if this doesn't work.
We haven't got a timeline.
We haven't got any form of timeline. They just don't know. They don't know.
But there's no cure.
No, there's no.
So it will slow. What you desperately want is for it to slow it down as
so we're hoping
possible.
that Laura going on to warfarin will allow her brain to uptake the glucose that's required to keep these parts of the brain that's run and slow down the progression. But there is no guarantee on anything.
The big thing, as we said right at the very beginning, is the fact that you're here, you're talking about it. You don't want anyone else to sit there thinking, "Oh my God, what's happening to me? I'm going mad," because it can tragically happen earlier on. You're not going mad, and at least you're arming people with a little more knowledge.
That I had that. You're not going mad, however, but at least I know, and I'm whilst I can ambassador and kind of get the word out. That's exactly what I want to do. And thank you so much for having us.
No. Sorry, Oz. We thought that you were going to go to Boston. That's where you say your
heart is.
Your heart is in Boston. So when you get there, we've been a little present here. We've been in touch with the Boston Bruins ice hockey game. You love ice hockey. So you've got 2 tickets as well as a VIP experience for you both. Oh. So when you get to Boston, you're going to meet the team. Take that, show them that, and tell them we sent you.
Thank you.
And any money on the GoFund page as well, because I know that you hit your target really quickly. So then they suggested, why don't you open it up, make it out, and any money you're sending to research to help spread the word and help make a difference.
Can we just say hello to Laura's nan, Daisy?
So Alzheimer's, and she loves this morning
What's
so much.
name?
Daisy.
Hi, morning, Daisy. Hi, Daisy.
Thank you very much. Have a
so
wonderful
much.
trip as well.
Thank you.
Right, the Sweetmans are back with us next alongside 52-year-old viewer Sue Roach.